Okay, so here we go. We're back here in CGS 1060, and we're going to look at the capstone together. This is the capstone. The only difference with the capstone is, with the capstone, I don't, I don't go ahead and um, do it for you, right? Like I don't do it with you, rather. Now, I like how we did it before because you were learning. So as you're learning, I do the assignments with you. Okay? As you're learning, I do the assignments with you. But now we're getting ready for the test. The test is next class. So because the test is next class, you have to now do this one on your own, right? Now, if you are completely stuck, I can help you one-on-one. But the way I'm going to help you is I'm going to try to guide you in the right direction through comments like, have you looked at this? Have you looked at that? Right? Now you can spend as long as you need on this capstone project, right? You don't have to get it done during class time today. You can spend all the way through Sunday doing it. But here's the thing. I have it planned out that this class will be devoted to this project, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit now about the test and what we're doing and things like that. But I'm not going to do this capstone for you. Now the capstone is not really any different from all the other things we've done, right? Like we can take a look at the capstone. We can go here to Monday, Wednesday, 8:50 to 10:30. And we can see that this project, you're working with sales data from Topped Corn, a popcorn company. So they're going to tell you, start with this start file. Okay, where do we get the start file? We download it. So I guess now I am showing you some stuff. So now we click on the start file, we download it. We're going to have the instructions on this side. And then we can have the actual capstone on this side. Okay, there we go. All right, so then we enable editing. All right, so here we have the instructions. They're going to say, insert a new worksheet. Well, to insert a new worksheet, you just go down here, click on the plus sign, right? New worksheet. And then rename it. Oh, gosh, I can't help myself. Now I'm showing you what to do. Now you go here to mobile sales. You type that in. Okay? As you do things, you check them off. Now, it's called a capstone. It sounds really intimidating. It's less than 20 steps. You've done longer things than this. You've done longer projects than this one. But what makes this one unique is I'm not going to go through the steps for you. Now, there have been some other ones where I didn't go through the steps, but those were a little maybe less comprehensive, and this one does go through a lot of different steps for Excel. And the idea is you need to think clearly about what they are asking. Okay, you need to think very clearly. What are they asking here? So, after you do all the steps, you go to the top, you submit it just like the previous projects, and they tell you a score. Now, if you get a low score the first time, You can fix it, redo it, and then resubmit it for a better score. And once you're done with this, you have to start thinking, how do you prepare for your Excel exam? The Excel exam will be on Monday. Okay? So how to prepare? How to prepare? Well, you can go to the library in SimNet and redo the assignments. So let me show you here. If you go to library and you click on Microsoft Office and then choose Excel 2019, you can go through and do these again and again. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, Chapter 5. Okay? Now, to make this like right in your face, I'm going to reopen all of the sim books. So when you log in, they're going to be there for you to see. So let's just go here, edit assign chapter 1, and then we go here to Monday, Wednesday, and we'll say that they are due on the 24th, and the end date is on the 24th. And we'll do the same for chapter 2. Now it's really visible. You can see it. Chapter 3. Chapter 4. And chapter 5. Okay. So now when you log in, you will see all of these assignments just staring you in the face, saying, listen, you can redo these, right? So you don't have to go through going to library, going to this, going to that. Not that it's hard to do that, but it's just now a little bit quicker. Excel is probably the hardest test. And then Access is second, and then Word, and then PowerPoint is easiest. So you want to study hard for Excel. You want to study hard. And isn't it, oops, didn't mean to do that. Drop my printer like a fool. So you don't want to like go into a test with underestimating it and then it being harder than you expected. It's nicer to overstudy, right? And then you leave the test saying, oh, that was easy, I got a 97. So that's just my opinion. It's better to over prepare. So you've got a lot of tools that you can use to study. These sim books are probably the best way to study. The sim books are the best way to study. The sim books are the best way to study. The projects are the second best way to study. And I don't know, if you wanted to like rewatch my videos, I guess that's the third best way. The videos are the third best way. And then that's probably all you need to do, right? You don't need to do anything else. I mean, you don't even, some people will do fine in Excel without much extra studying. And then other people need to do more. You have to think, how hard are these projects as you're doing them? Like, do you remember where to click? If you're remembering where to click as you do this final project, like this capstone, you don't need to worry too much, right? Like, it's easy for you, you're doing fine, you're doing good. But if you're going through the capstone saying, okay, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do an average function, I don't know how to click on a new worksheet, redo things before. Um, if you miss doing one SimBook project, yeah, you could just send me a DM. That's fine. I can work with that. And that's open to anybody. Oops, that should be spelled correctly. You can just send me a DM for that. That's not a big deal. Um, but let's see. Let's see. Questions you have. I don't want to just keep talking. Other than that, questions you have. What are the main functions again using the sum function? Okay, great. So if we go ahead and start up Excel here, we can see that there are different ways that we can use sum, right? So let's go here and let's have some numbers. So we've got 29 and 39 and 55 and 22 and 100. So different ways you can sum this. One way you can sum it is you can just type out equals SUM parentheses, open parentheses, then select from A1 through A5. Okay, so the first thing is you can just type out the equal sum. So this is typing out equal sum A1 through A5. But there's other ways that we can do this. We can also go here and click on sum, and then we're going to sum from A1 through A5. Okay? So you can also click on the sum button. Okay, so then the question is, and what about when it is used with currency? Okay, so if this is formatted as a currency, it won't make any a difference to the summation of it, right? So whether the numbers are being formatted as ints, as numbers, or as currency, it doesn't make a difference. Okay? It doesn't make a difference. So that's the thing. It doesn't make a difference whether it's formatted as numbers or currency. It's just yeah, it's just like that. So now in terms of the dollar sign, right? The dollar sign is A and 1. This refers to how the formula moves with dragging and dropping. Okay, so let's do a little example here. So let's assume we have different growth rates. All right, so we're going to have one growth rate of 5%, and we'll have another growth rate of 10%, and another growth rate of 15%, and another growth rate of 20%. Okay, so we're going to say that this was the sum of the sales. That's pretty weak sales, right? Like this could be, I don't know, let's say, let's go by hour. Yeah. By hour would be more reasonable. So this is hour one, hour two, hour three, hour four. So let's say this is for a food truck, right? This is for a food truck. So we've got food truck hourly sales. So for the total, it's $245 for the day, right? $245 for the day. So if we're over here calculating the growth rates, if we want to pretend, okay, we have 5% growth rate from one day to the next, 10% growth rate from one day to the next, 15, 20, and 25, this is just called a simulation, right? This is a simulation. This is when we examine these different figures for just what if analysis. That's what we're doing, what if analysis. So we can say equals to start our formula, and then go over here to A8, right? And A8 we need to keep the same as we drag it across. A8 will not change. So for A8, we can use F4 on our keyboard. F4 will add in the $ before the column and before the row, okay? Which makes it an absolute cell reference. As we drag across, it will not change A8 in this formula. That's what we want. So we want A8, absolute cell reference, times 1 plus 5%. Okay? So we see we are getting $257 the next day with 5% growth rate. With 25% growth rate, we're getting up to $306 for the next day. Okay? So this right here, I can share with you. Let's just share this to the documents folder, and we'll call this 1020 exercise CGS 1060. And we'll just go over here to documents. And we'll just put this here. Okay, great. So now you can look at how I built this simulation, right? Now we can have this one as day 2, and then for day 3, we can continue this. We can say, okay, so this is going to be equal to this times 1 plus 5%. And then we can go over here, and let's just do this from day 3 through day 15. And we'll just drag this down here. And hold on, I did something wrong. So this one, no, that can't be. Hold on. What is the problem here? Why is this doing this? So now we need to do. Oh, I see. We have to make this an absolute cell reference, of course. So this is going to be H2 as an absolute cell reference, F4, and then this is going to be an absolute cell ref. Actually, you know what we can do? We can just make it, watch this. We can just make it referencing this row with 2. And now if we drag this across, it still should be 296.45. And now if we drag it down, let's see if that works. I think it might not. No, it did work. Good. Great. It worked great. Okay. So you see, with 25% growth rate each day, wow, that's incredible growth. By the end, They're doing daily sales of over $5,000. With 5% growth, it's $485. So huge, huge difference in growth rates. Growth rates matter so much. Growth rates matter so much. Okay, so other questions. Like this is a good time we can do questions like that. Because otherwise all I have for today is just for you to work on the capstone. That's a good question. The exam might have a quick question on conditionals. There might be one. There might be one. Here we have an example that we're working with. Okay? And we want to find some conditionals, right? We want to find if an amount is over a certain amount, give it a nice color. So what we can do is we can go over here to conditional formatting. Like this is just one way of doing an if statement. We can highlight all this and say conditional formatting. And we can say highlight cell rules if they're greater than, like let's say if every day you sell more than $500, we want to give it a color of red text. Okay? Although no, I don't like red text because red makes it seem like you're losing money. So let's do greater than, how about yellow fill? Let's try that. Yeah, that looks good. And let's make it, if it's greater than 5,000, 500, we'll put yellow with yellow. I like that. Okay. So what I did was I highlighted the cells that I want to work with. Then I go to the conditional formatting and I picked highlight cell rules greater than, I put 500 and then I picked the color I want. Now if you're building another if statement, you can type in the equal sign. You can say equals if, and we can just select one of the cells, right? Because we're just doing this for an example. If the ending point at day 15 is greater than, let's say 1,000, right? If it's greater than 1,000, we'll say this is excellent growth. And you notice what I did? I just put a comma and then I put in quotation marks this term. This is excellent growth. Okay? Now I'm closing the quotation marks and I'm putting another comma and I'm saying this growth is not sufficient. Okay? This is a type of if statement you can build where you have if, parentheses, some sort of comparison, is this greater than this? If so, then you run what's after the comma. So you have comma, this is excellent growth. Comma, this growth is not sufficient. Enter. Okay? So this growth is not sufficient for 5%. Let's drag it over and let's see what we have. Okay? So we see for 10%, this growth is not sufficient. We're still not meeting $1,000 per day. Now, here with 15% growth, yes, we're good. We're getting to 1,700. For 20% growth, you're getting over 3,000. And then for 25%, of course, that's amazing. 5,000 per day for your food truck. Okay? So do you see how I built the if statement? It all starts with equals if. You put some sort of condition in here. Condition is greater than other. Otherwise, if true, comma, if false. Does that make sense? Okay. Because I don't mind. Like we can use all this class time today to go over examples like this? Like if that was too fast, was that too fast? Oh, okay, okay. So you're saying ifs. Okay. Now another thing you can do is you can look up here at insert and then where they have, or excuse me, formulas under conditional, where's conditional? Logical, they have ifs, okay? Ifs is going to be checks whether one or more conditions are met and returns a value corresponding to the true conditions. Okay? So we'll say if logical test 15 is greater than 500, value if true, we can type in good. And then the logical test can be if H16 is greater than 400, we'll say okay. And then we can say if H16 is greater than 300, we'll say meh. Okay? So now, when we've built this if statement, we've built in multiple if statements. So instead of nesting ifs, we can use a single ifs statement, which is pretty useful, right? Like we're saying, okay, if this right here, 485, is greater than 500, we say good. If it's greater than 400, we say okay. And then you can just drag this over and you can see good, 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 right? It's a way of categorizing more than just like if then. It's like if this, otherwise if this, otherwise if this. Good, good. I don't think ifs is on the exam. Ifs is not on the exam, I don't believe. But it's a good, really good question. It's a really good question. Exactly, just like the word exam. Okay, great. So, what we're going to do is we are going to all do the capstone. Everybody is going to do the capstone. I want you to try to finish the capstone during class. Try to finish the capstone during class. That's a good goal. Don't just say, "Oh, I'm going to do this later." Try to do it during class. This way, you've got something to really focus your attention. I know you can get it done within an hour if you work very quickly. So I'm glad we're going to be stopping here. Like I wouldn't mind answering questions the whole class. That would be fine. But I really want to see you finish this during class so you don't have any homework. Okay? Except for studying if you want. All right, so let me just finish taking attendance. And then I have classes all day with students at Miami-Dade. So I'm definitely going to be sitting here answering your questions if you have a question about anything. So you're free to ask me something about this assignment. And I'll put this video where I explain some of the conditionals and things like that up on Discord, I mean on YouTube, and then post a link to it in Discord. All right. So 10, 20, CGS 1063. Okay, great. So attendance is done. Try to get it all finished, and next class, I'll open up the test. Next class is the test. So as a group, I'll see everybody at the group session next Monday morning, and talk to you later.